From a deputy diving headfirst down a courthouse stairwell, to a Satanist teenager clawing his way through the ceiling of a Russian courtroom.
But Grazer's way ahead of them.
These are the most unbelievable courtroom escapes ever caught on camera. Nicholas Garrison, 34, had just been sentenced in Greenfield, Ohio, to time in prison for a drug possession case. He wasn't yet in his cell. Deputies were only getting him ready to leave the courtroom. Two officers stood close to him, holding his arms. Everyone thought it was routine. But as one deputy glanced away, Garrison saw his opening. He bolted for the courtroom and sprinted toward the stairs. In a split-second decision, one deputy hurled himself forward, diving down the stairwell to try and grab him. The tackle missed. Garrison slipped through the door and vanished. He stayed on the run for 4 days before being caught at a motel.
We have just learned Garrison was taken into custody early this morning at a motel in Clinton County.
For his original drug charge and for running from custody, Garrison ended up with a 6-year prison sentence. The deputy who made that daring leap paid a price: 4 broken ribs and a concussion, a hospital stay instead of a headline.
One officer strikes him, but he's not giving up.
In 2021, Moscow police found 18-year-old Leonid Grazer had killed his sister in their apartment with demonic symbols painted in blood on the walls and floor. During questioning, Grazer smiled without remorse, claiming he acted on orders to free himself from self-doubt. Drugs were later found, but he insisted he knew exactly what he was doing.
This practice is rarely seen today outside of Russia to prevent dangerous criminals from attacking or possibly even escaping.
Due to the crime's brutality, the court kept him in a sealed glass cage for safety. But even that couldn't stop his dramatic escape attempt. His first escape attempt failed, but Grazer didn't quit. He squeezed through the top of the cage into the courtroom ceiling as officers scrambled below, one even pulling his trousers down while grabbing for his legs.
He somehow has slipped through the slats at the top of the bulletproof security dock.
With tasers pointed at him and more guards rushing in, Grazer finally gave up, crawling back into the glass box while being told to pull his pants back up.
At this point, these Russian officers are not playing around. As the taser comes out, he makes sure Grazer knows what's about to happen.
He was immediately handcuffed to stop any further stunts.
Grazer's finally had enough.
The judge later ordered Leonid Grazer into compulsory psychiatric medical treatment every 6 months instead of a standard prison term. Joel Delgado, 41, was facing burglary and firearms charges in Little Rock, Arkansas. In jail, he had complained of feeling sick and claimed he couldn't move his legs. Officers believed him and brought him to court in a wheelchair.
What's up, young buck?
On the way in, Delgado played his part perfectly, slumping in the chair and acting weak. Then he told the deputy he had lost his shoe. "Hey, you see a shoe back there?"
What'd you say, OJ? Hey, you see a shoe back there? Where is it?
As the officer bent to look, Delgado suddenly sprang to his feet, completely mobile, and bolted down the corridor. The stunned deputy shouted after him, trying to call for help, but his radio was out of reach. Without backup, the officer couldn't stop him. Delgado vaulted a railing and disappeared into the city streets. For several hours, no one knew where the wheelchair inmate had gone.
Nah, which way you go?
Went straight through the alley and cut that way.
What's your phone?
Later that day, authorities found him on the other side of town and took him back into custody. This time he was charged with felony escape and was once again placed in a wheelchair, claiming injury. What began as a fake disability turned into a full-on foot chase, a headache for law enforcement, and more charges for Joel Delgado. In Decatur, Tennessee, 33-year-old Rashad Hawkins stood before a judge in the Meigs County Courthouse. He had just been sentenced for failing to pay child support, a charge that was about to land him behind bars. But Hawkins had no plans to go quietly. Before deputies could take him into custody, Hawkins bolted from the courtroom. He raced toward the second-floor balcony and, without stopping, vaulted over the railing. He dropped nearly 10 feet into the reception area below, landing hard but springing up as if nothing had happened. Then he sprinted for the exit, leaving stunned officers and court workers staring after him. Hawkins stayed on the run for almost 3 weeks. The break came in Herod, Kentucky, when neighbors reported a stranger trespassing on their property. Officers moved in, but Hawkins fought and tried to escape again.
Ran to avoid capture, but was eventually arrested following an altercation with an officer.
This time he didn't get away. He was arrested and hit with more charges: criminal trespassing, resisting arrest, and third-degree assault of an officer, on top of his unpaid child support case.
In addition to his outstanding warrant in Tennessee, Hawkins was hit with a long list of new charges.
Rashad Hawkins' leap bought him a few more weeks of freedom, and a much longer list of charges once he was back in custody. In 2021, 28-year-old Eddie Villalobos walked into a Hillsborough courtroom to face one of the most serious charges there is: second-degree murder. Prosecutors said he had stabbed a man to death, and now a jury was about to hear his case. Two deputies escorted Villalobos into a courtroom. Under Oregon law, defendants can't be shown in shackles in front of a jury because it could create bias. So his handcuffs and leg restraints were removed right there in court. Seconds later, he made his move. He jumped over a chair and bolted toward the door, sprinting down the hallway with deputies chasing after him. He raced down the stairs, through the lobby, and out of the building, slamming the door behind him. A 2-hour manhunt began. Eventually, officers got a call about a break-in at a nearby apartment. Inside, they found Eddie hiding under a blanket in a closet. He was arrested without a fight and hit with fresh charges: first-degree burglary and second-degree escape.
This is the moment Villalobos was taken into custody after a 2-hour search. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says he was hiding in a hallway and he was arrested without incident.
Months later, a jury convicted him of the original murder charge. He was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. These escapes prove that even the most secure rooms can erupt into chaos in a heartbeat. If you love unbelievable real-life moments like these, hit like, share the video, and subscribe for more stories that'll leave you speechless.